All right, so today we're going deep into Wings of Fire,
Yeah.
the Dragonet Prophecy. It's the first book in this whole series, and
Yeah.
it throws us right into this huge war
Yeah.
between like 7 different dragon tribes, right?
Right. All fighting to rule over this continent called Pyrrhia.
Pyrrhia, yeah. And amidst all this chaos, there's this like glimmer of hope, right?
Yeah, an ancient prophecy.
Okay, a
It
process.
says that 5 dragonets, like special ones, will come along and end all this fighting and bring peace back.
Okay, so 5 dragonets of destiny, that's who we're following.
Exactly. The story starts with these 5 dragonets hidden away in a cave.
And their names are?
Let's see, there's Clay, Tsunami, Glory, Sunny, and Starflight. They've been raised in total isolation by this group called the Talons of Peace.
The Talons of Peace.
Yeah, they're like totally obsessed with making this prophecy happen. They've been training these dragonets their whole lives for this destiny, you know?
And the dragonets, they don't really have a choice in this whole thing, do they?
Not really. And here's where the prophecy gets a little tricky.
Oh,
So each dragonet has to be from a specific tribe.
okay, that makes sense.
So Clay is a mudwing, Tsunami is a seeing, Sunny's a sandwing, Starflight's a nightwing. But the prophecy calls for a skywing.
Oh.
And Glory, she's a rainwing.
So there's a problem already.
Big problem. Some of the guardians, the ones raising the dragonets, they think Glory should be, eliminated.
Eliminated.
They think they need to get a real skywing to make the prophecy work.
Wow, talk about pressure. So how do these 5 dragonets, with their different personalities, how do they deal with all of this?
Well, their reactions are all different, which is what makes it so interesting. You've got Clay. He's a mudwing. They're supposed to be gentle, but this whole prophecy is making him terrified.
Terrified.
He's scared of becoming a killer, which, is kind of what the prophecy might need him to be.
That's heavy stuff for a young dragon.
Right. And then there's Tsunami. She's a seeing. She's all about action, bold and ready to take charge.
Oh,
She's
wait,
like, let's do this thing.
And what about Glory, the one who's supposed to be eliminated?
She is not happy about it. She's sarcastic, independent. She doesn't like being anyone's chosen one.
Yeah, I can imagine.
All these clashing personalities, plus the threat against Glory, it kind of boils over.
So they try to escape.
Exactly. Tsunami, she leads this daring escape from the cave.
Brave.
She wants to protect Glory and also, I think, let them all decide their own futures.
So this escape, it's like their first act of rebellion against this prophecy, right?
Totally. But freedom, it's not what they expected. Out in Pyrrhia, it's harsh. Wars everywhere.
Makes sense. It's been going on for generations.
They go through deserts, rainforests, mountains, each place as tough as the dragon tribe that lives there.
Do they meet any other dragons along the way?
Oh, yeah, and not all of them are friendly. Some are scared, some are just trying to survive.
And the war's making everything worse, I bet.
Definitely. One of the most important dragons they meet is Queen Scarlet. She rules the Skywings.
I have a feeling she's not going to be happy with a bunch of runaway dragonets on her territory.
Oh, you are so right. Scarlet, she's cunning and ambitious. She wants to use the dragonets for her own gain.
So she's not going to help them end the war.
No way. Actually, she ends up capturing them.
No.
Yeah, throws them into this arena where dragons fight to the death.
Oh, that's horrible.
It's her entertainment.
So how do they get out of that mess?
It's a combination of luck, some quick thinking, and help from unexpected allies. One of them is Peril.
Peril, who's that?
She's a skywing with a pretty intense secret. She can burn anything she touches.
Whoa, that's a dangerous power.
She's a complicated character. She grew up in Scarlet's war-obsessed world, so she's got her own sense of right and wrong, The dragonets, they have to really think about what's right with her around.
Sounds like she challenges their whole perspective.
Absolutely. But there's something else, something huge that happens while they're captured.
What?
The skywing egg, the one that was supposed to, make the prophecy complete, it gets destroyed. So, total accident. But now the prophecy's got this hole in it.
And what about Glory?
That's where things get interesting. It's like fate, or maybe just chance, has a different plan. So now, with that skywing egg out of the picture, the prophecy's like broken right.
Yeah, totally shattered.
And the focus kind of shifts to the remaining dragonets,
Okay, so what do they do now? The prophecy's messed up. They're on their own, basically.
Well, they still want to stop this war, but they start to realize, maybe the prophecy wasn't the answer.
That makes sense.
And their journey kind of becomes more about them, figuring themselves out.
Like finding their own path.
Exactly. They travel to the Mud Kingdom, where Clay, remember he's the Mudwing, he finally meets his family.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
He learns about his past, his tribe's history, some things that surprise him.
So that's kind of a reality check for him.
Yeah, like he always thought Mudwings were simple, peaceful, but the war, it's touched everyone, you know?
So it's like each Dragonet is getting this reality check about their tribe and the world.
Yeah. Exactly. What about Tsunami?
Yeah. What about her? She seemed pretty confident about being a seeing.
Oh, she gets her own dose of reality, too. She goes to the Sea Kingdom expecting, the perfect, strong tribe. They've got their own problems, their own bad choices in the past.
Wow, so even the seeings aren't perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
Tsunami has to learn that. True leadership, it means seeing the flaws, understanding.
That's a big lesson for her.
It is. But Starflight, the Nightwing, he has the toughest time.
What happens to him?
The Dragonets, they go to the Night Kingdom. Super dark and mysterious, right?
And Starflight's excited, right? Finally going home.
Yeah, at first. But then he learns the truth about his tribe, their role in the war.
Uh-oh.
The Nightwings, they've been pulling strings from the shadows, making the war worse.
No way.
They're using the war for their own power, for their own gain.
This whole world kind of crumbles.
Totally. His tribe, the one he thought was good and wise, they're corrupted. He doesn't know what to believe anymore.
That's heartbreaking.
So now they can't trust the prophecy. They can't trust the adults who are pushing it on them.
So what do?
They got to take charge themselves, make their own plan to stop the war, even if it means going against everyone else.
That's a huge decision.
And super dangerous. They got to tell everyone the truth about the Nightwings, get the other tribes to see them as the real enemy.
So they're starting a revolution.
Basically,
Yeah.
They face danger from every side, even people they thought they could trust.
What happens next? Do they manage to get the other tribes on their side?
Well, trying to expose the Nightwings takes them back to the Sky Kingdom, right back to Queen Scarlet.
Back to the lion's den. Didn't they learn their lesson the first time?
They have to go back. It's the heart of the conflict. They're not just running away this time, they're challenging her directly.
This sounds like it's all leading up to a huge showdown.
Oh yeah, the final battle. And guess where it takes place?
Where?
Scarlet's arena. Perfect, right?
Yeah, totally fitting. So tell me about this battle. What kind of challenges do the Dragonets face?
Well, it's crazy, right? Fire, claws, everyone fighting for what they believe in.
Yeah, and the Dragonets, they're fighting their own pasts too, right?
Exactly. Their doubts, all those expectations everyone's put on them. It's more than just a physical fight.
So how do they handle all that pressure?
Each one has to find their own strength, Clay, even though he hates fighting, he learns to protect his friends. Tsunami, she figures out strategy and how important it is to be united. Glory, she discovers how strong she really is.
What about Starflight? He's been through so much.
He's still hurting from his tribe's betrayal, but he finds his own way to help, using his knowledge. And Sunny, she never loses hope, always trying to lift everyone up.
They've all come so far.
They have, but it's not just about being strong, right?
Right.
They have to be smart, outsmart Scarlet, tell the truth to everyone about what the Nightwings are doing.
So they're using the truth as a weapon.
You could say that.
And it works.
It does. The other tribes see Scarlet for what she is, and the battle turns.
So they win.
Hmm.
The war is over.
Well, winning this battle was a huge victory, but it's not over yet. Not completely.
So we're back. And the big question is, what happens after that crazy battle?
Well, even though Scarlet's gone, things are still pretty tense,
Makes sense. You can't just erase generations of war overnight.
Exactly. Some dragons see the Dragonets as heroes, but others, they're still holding on to all that old anger.
So how do you even begin to build peace in a world like that?
The Dragonets, they realize that beating Scarlet was just the start,
Right, like the real work is just beginning.
Yeah. They have to find a way to heal all those old wounds.
Easier said than done, right? Especially after so much bloodshed.
They decide to start by exposing the truth.
The truth about
About the Nightwings. They tell everyone how the Nightwings were manipulating things, making the war worse.
Wow, that's a big risk.
Mm.
I mean, are the other tribes even ready to hear that?
It's a mixed bag, Some are shocked, like, we need to change things. But others, they just can't let go of the hate.
So it's a long road ahead. What do the Dragonets do next?
They decide to stick together. They form this, council.
Council of Dragonets.
Yeah, it's made up of dragons from all the different tribes.
So they're trying to bridge the gap, bring everyone together.
Exactly. They focus on things that actually matter, like setting up ways for the tribes to trade,
Okay, practical stuff.
Yeah, sharing resources, even just getting to know each other better.
That's smart, building peace one step at a time.
But what about the prophecy? Is that whole thing just forgotten now?
It's interesting, right? The prophecy, it never really happens the way they thought it would.
What do you mean?
They don't find some magical thing that ends the war. There's no big announcement or anything.
So what was the point of it all? If it didn't even come true?
I think prophecies, they're not always meant to be taken literally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like they're more symbolic.
Exactly. They point you in a direction, but you got to figure out the details yourself.
So in a way, the Dragonets fulfilled the prophecy by, like, making their own choices. Right. By choosing to fight for peace, even when it was hard, even when they didn't have all the answers.
So the real message of the prophecy is about choice.
Yeah, and about questioning things, not just blindly following what others tell you.
Pretty powerful stuff for a book about dragons.
It is. It shows us that even when things seem impossible, like with this huge war, you can still choose to make things better.
Well, that's a hopeful note to end on. And that wraps up our deep dive into Wings of Fire, the Dragonet Prophecy.
Hope you enjoyed it.
It's a story full of adventure and some tough lessons about war and peace, but most importantly, about choosing your own path, just like those Dragonets did. So until next time, keep exploring, keep those minds open, and never stop being curious.